This is my Bronze Age DC Direct display. DC Direct, mostly DC Direct. The only one that's not DC Direct, well, actually, there are two that aren't DC Direct, which is Aquaman and Superman. But the rest of them are DC Direct. And I think they all look really nice together. This actually started out, funnily enough, as a Modern Age display, but then I repainted Superman and Batman and to be like more classic, and I actually like it better this way. The Bronze Age Justice League is like my favorite Justice League, so so I definitely wanted to create a Bronze Age version. And anyway, but yeah, I really enjoy how these figures look together. If we're to move in a little bit closer, that Green Lantern is a custom and probably my favorite classic Green Lantern figure ever. I think that head looks just super good on the body. The body, if you're wondering, is from the Sinestro and Green Lantern 2-pack from DC Direct. I want to say it was released around 2011, something like that. It's from like the Green Lantern Secret Origin. It's supposed to like represent the Green Lantern Secret Origin series. And that body was actually not Hal Jordan's body, but Sinestro's. And the Sinestro head looked really good on it, but I wanted to make a Hal Jordan figure. And so I put the DC Essentials Green Lantern head on this, and I think it looks just utterly fantastic. And I was able to actually find that head, the DC Essentials head, on eBay for a really good price. I think it was like $10. I already had the DC Essentials Green Lantern, but I did not want to ruin that figure by taking the head off. So I still have a vanilla DC Essentials Green Lantern, but it's just I just ordered a different head that was on eBay. So that worked out really nice. And then I also painted some more black around the symbol area. I painted more black around the torso because that's more accurate to what like Green Lantern actually has in the comic books. And I also had to transfer the ring from the left to the right hand because Hal Jordan wears his ring on the right hand, whereas Sinestro wears his on his left hand. So I just cut off the ring from the left hand, put a piece of white, put it like a white sticker over it, so it covered up the spot where I cut off, and then I just super glued the ring to the right hand, and I think it looks really nice. Aquaman, this is the Mattel DC Multiverse Aquaman, so not McFarlane, but Mattel DC Multiverse Aquaman from the there's a 3-pack with Ocean Master, Black Manta, Aquaman, Between Two Dooms, SDCC, that is San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And I think this Aquaman looks really, really nice. I love him, and he looks super good in with these. I really enjoyed the head sculpt, and he's really more of a 7-inch figure than a 6-inch figure, so he fits in really well with the 7-inch display. Wonder Woman, this is probably the best Wonder Woman action figure ever made, maybe. Terry Dodson Wonder Woman, I got her for a great price on online, and I was really lucky to find her for the price. She didn't come with a magic lasso, but what I did actually, you might not be able to see it very well, but you can probably see it better here, is that I went out and I bought like at Hobby Lobby a piece, like I bought like gold wire, and gold wire works even better than like just standard rope, standard rope for Wonder Woman's magic lasso, because it's really posable. So this is like easily posable, and it's also very shiny, so it looks really nice, and I love how it looks in this way. So I eventually probably will replace this Wonder Woman with a different Wonder Woman, because her like symbol and stuff is a little bit more detailed than it should be for a Bronze Age Wonder Woman. So it's really more of a Modern Age Wonder Woman, but her Bronze Age and Modern Age suits were very similar. So I'm willing to let it slide for now, although I eventually probably will invest in a different Wonder Woman. One thing of note, however, is that there really has not been like a fantastic Bronze Age Wonder Woman ever made. There was one made in the Just League of America series, but she's super, super, super rare, and she probably would run me about $100, and I'm not willing to spend that much. She's really hard to find at all. Like even for a high price, she's hard to find. Superman. So Superman, this is the McFarlane Toys Superman. I'm sure everybody recognizes him. However, he has been repainted. So the main point of repainting him was to make that blue a brighter color. I went out to the store and I bought a brighter blue. For those of you looking to customize this guy yourself, what you'll want to do is you'll want to buy a nice bright blue, as you can see here, but not too bright, because otherwise it'll just look kind of silly. But I like this blue. I forget what blue it was, but you can go out, you can buy blue, and then you want to seal it. Now, a warning, if you don't seal your paints, they'll just rub off. I learned that the hard way. You have got to seal your paint. So you should definitely seal it. So paint it and then seal it. Now, another piece of warning is that I thought I was only going to paint the blue on this figure, and then I ended up painting everything because the blue got everywhere. So I had to repaint all the reds as well. Now, the red is pretty much the exact same color red as the original red, but I still had to repaint it. And I also had to repaint some of the yellow too. Batman is a custom as well. Mostly, well, yeah, it's pretty much only a repaint. There's no like new sculpting, new, yeah, there's nothing really new about him. It's just the paint job, which I repainted him a brighter gray and a brighter blue. And I also added a lot of like the black highlights that are on like the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez Batman. And I think he looks just super, super nice. The face was a little hard to paint with the black highlights, but it ended up really nice. And I'm really happy with this figure. The Flash is from the Flashpoint Flash series. I like everything about him except maybe the head sculpt. The head sculpt is just maybe a little bit too stern for me for a Barry Allen Flash. But I do enjoy the head sculpt a lot. And then the Hawkman is the DC Direct Justice Hawkman from based on the art of Alex Ross. And he's not quite accurate to the Bronze Age in that like the helmet is gold when it should be more of like a orange and yellow, but he'll do just fine. I really do like how he looks. Okay, then this is another Bronze Age display, albeit a DC Universe Classics Bronze Age display. This time we're moving from like left to right? So this was like on the far left, and then this display is further to the right. And this is like, so you'll see like this is the second time this core group of heroes has emerged. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, The Flash, and Hawkman are like that's like my Justice League. That's like my favorite iteration of the Justice League ever. And I mean, yeah, and I just love Hawkman as a character. And so I think he makes an excellent seventh member of the Justice League, particularly like a classic Justice League. So this is like more of like an action pose for the Justice League, whereas this was just like maybe we'll call it a triumphant pose. This is like an action pose, like they're all ready for battle. And I really like how I've set them up here. Moving in a little bit more closely, you can see Hawkman is flying. I did repaint the Hawkman's head. Other than that, I didn't do anything to it, but I repainted his head. Because the DC Universe Classics Hawkman had no yellow on like the bottom part of the helmet, and Hawkman always in the Bronze Age had yellow on the bottom of his helmet, so I repainted that. Batman vanilla, Flash vanilla, and Aquaman vanilla. Flash is also the only one here who is DC Direct, but I think he fits in really, really nice. You'll notice that this DC Direct Flash is the exact same as the one in the DC Direct Justice League of America Silver Age display, that early 2000s Flash, but he's really, really nice. I like him a lot. I think he fits in well here. That Aquaman is not the standard original release Hawkman, or not Hawkman, but Aquaman. He instead came in the Undersea Assault, Black Manta, and Aquaman 2-pack. And I think he's just a fantastic figure. You can't really tell here, but the green on him is like super, super bright. It's a very bright green. And the orange is super shiny. Like the gold is like really shiny. It's more of a gold than an orange, really. But it's just a very striking Aquaman. I love this figure a lot. Batman he's okay, but anyway. Green Lantern, this is not the standard release of Green Lantern either. This is instead the re-release that Mattel did as part of its DC Multiverse line. It's the Super Friends Green Lantern. It's a little bit of an interesting figure that the green is like really, really bright. Whereas on the Super Friends TV series, the green was like a very dull green. So they actually kind of got the green hue wrong on this figure, but it is what it is. I still like this Green Lantern a lot, and he did not come with that power battery, but I found a power battery to fit him really, really well. That effect that's on his hand is a Marvel Legends effect that I've never bought a Marvel Legends figure in my entire life, but I ordered a random figure, not random, but I ordered a figure on Mercari, and the seller for some reason just decided to include the Marvel Legends effect for free, and I was like, hey, look, it's a Green Lantern effect. I'm going to put on a Green Lantern figure, and I think it looks really nice. This is the standard DC Universe Classics Wonder Woman. Nothing to say about her because she's just standard. She's okay. She's a little tiny. but she's pretty good. I like her. And then this is the DC Universe Classic Superman standard release. Very little to say about him. He looks pretty nice. Yeah, anyway, we'll talk more about him later. Yeah. And then moving on. So this is the next display. I realize this is not the most clear picture, but we're going to move in a little bit closer. You get a better idea. So we had two Bronze Age displays. So if we're moving from left to right, we're sort of moving chronologically. So we start in the Bronze Age, and admittedly we skipped the Dark Age, but here's the Modern Age, or the New 52 Justice League. And I realized Cyborg was in the New 52 Justice League, but for one, I like Hawkman better than Cyborg. So this is like sort of my Justice League again, but also Mattel never made a Cyborg action figure, strangely enough, as big as Cyborg was in the New 52. They never made a New 52 Cyborg action figure. And so I put Hawkman in here. And moving in a little bit more closely, you can see there's Aquaman. I did do a head sculpt on the Aquaman, so I put the DC Collectibles, DC Direct, New 52 Aquaman head on this guy, and I actually think it looks really good. The head's a little bit big, but I think it looks really nice. And I put the head on a different figure, and I think that figure also looks good. I don't think I have that figure in here, but he looks good. And then the Green Lantern, this is the Mattel DC Universe Classics Green Lantern, the late release. But he fits in just fine for a New 52 Green Lantern. He's really supposed to be more of like a modern age Green Lantern, meaning like a pre-New 52 Green Lantern, but he looks really nice. The Wonder Woman is the something DC Universe Unlimited, DC Multiverse Unlimited, something like that, Wonder Woman. And she's a very good figure, a little small, a little petite, but I like her a lot. They did a good job with her sword too. And then the lighting changes a little bit here, but the Superman looks really nice. The Batman, he's okay. The one I have, his head sculpts, well, I shouldn't say his head sculpt, his head paint is a little weird. Like, I don't know, you probably can't see it very well, but there's some paint slop near his nose and it just makes it look weird, but still a pretty cool figure, especially like the neck down is really nice. The Flash figure is, just the standard Mattel DC Universe Flash figure, which looks, I think it looks really good. It's just pretty much just a repaint of the classic Flash. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because his symbol, his boots have been resculpted, but other than that, he's mostly repaint. But he looks really nice. And then the Hawkman, I actually have something to say about the Hawkman, because this is one of the best Hawkman figures ever made, in my opinion, the New 52 Hawkman. And for those of you who don't know, the New 52 Hawkman comic books were not very good. Like, Hawkman had his own series. It was called the Savage Hawkman. And it wasn't very good, but this design of the figure, I think, is just spectacular. The design, not the design of the figure, the design of the character. That is, the design of New 52 Hawkman is just so striking. Probably one of the best character designs ever. I mean, just the gold, the green, it's just awesome. I mean, he just looks like, I mean, he looks awesome. I mean, he looks like the Savage Hawkman. He looks really, really nice. And Mattel knocked it out of the park with their representation here of Hawkman. So they did a great job. I actually remember getting this figure at a very young age when he first came out. I think I got it for my birthday or something, and I was just so ecstatic. Like, it was like I went to heaven, right? Because he was just everything I imagined and more, and he was like one of my favorite characters. He still is like my second favorite character of all time, Hawkman. And so I was just so happy. I took him everywhere with me. And anyway, and so I probably was 11 or 12 at that point. So anyway, and then this is the DC Essentials Justice League. Again, DC Essentials never made a Cyborg figure. They also didn't make a Hawkman figure, but I put Hawkman in here. This is the DC Collectibles Hawkman. Let's zoom in a little bit closer on these guys. So the DC Essentials line is one of my favorite lines of action figures ever. Probably my second favorite line of action figures after DC Universe Classics. I know a lot of people complain about DC Essentials. Some people even go so far as to say they're like garbage. I realize their limbs are a little bit like loose and that their arms are a little long. I get that. Yes. Okay. I'll admit that. But as far as like aesthetics go, if you ignore like the gangly arms, they are very, very, very aesthetically pleasing. I mean, you look at these three figures, you look at any of their figures really, and they're just so crisp and clean, especially the head sculpts. Head sculpts are just stunning, just absolutely stunning. That Green Lantern figure is my favorite Green Lantern figure ever made. And they just knocked out of the park with that guy, just utterly fantastic. So the Flash figure I love as well. Batman they did a good job of. They all just look so good. I wish DC Essentials was still going, still in like its third year, fourth year, something like that. They could make 200 of these and it wouldn't be enough. I'd be like more because I love these figures. Yes, they don't stand very well, but you can get them to stand. Like I don't have any of these guys on stands. None of them are on stands, and you can get them to stand. So don't tell me you can't get them to stand. I have a lot of them, and they stand okay. I mean, you can get them to stand. Yes, they're stubborn about it, but they can stand. And their aesthetics make up for the fact that they can't stand. The Superman here, I love the Superman figure, one of the best Superman figures ever made. Just looks so classic. I painted his belt loops because the belt loops were yellow to begin with for some reason, for some dumb reason. But other than that, I really like this figure a lot. It looks super good. Wonder Woman, also probably one of the best Wonder Woman action figures ever made. And also, yeah, one of only 2 action figures made of Wonder Woman in her modern outfit, like in the outfit she's wearing right now in the comics. The DC Multiverse, Mattel DC Multiverse made one, but she wasn't very good. And this is an excellent figure. I think she looks good with the Mattel DC Universe Classics shield that came with the Wonder Woman. Aquaman is just absolutely fantastic. I love this Aquaman figure. He's just so amazing. All these figures just knocked out of the park. This Hawkman, I also have something to say about, which is that he's just utterly fantastic. If you're a Hawkman fan at all, I recommend you go out and you search online for the DC Collectibles, DC Direct Hawkman, New 52 Savage Hawkman. He is just fantastic. That mace did not come with him, but anyway, it's supposed to be more of like a modern age Hawkman. His suit changed very little. I mean, not modern age. It's supposed to be like a modern Hawkman. His suit changed very little from like the New 52 to now, and so he does a pretty good job of representing the Rebirth Hawkman.